Today on the Rockbridge Report, a federal investigation launches into the police brutality case in New York City as protests continue both there and in Ferguson, Missouri. Plus,
it's a transition for some. Some are already there, and others are on their way.
The same-sex marriage ruling in October sparked multiple events in the community to celebrate the milestone. What happened in Rockbridge County shows support for these marriages over the last month.
Also, find out which former Virginia politician said he may run for president in 2016.
Hi, I'm Stuart Scott, and I'll provide your weekend sports slate later on the Rockbridge Report.
Live from the campus of Washington and Lee University with news for Rockbridge County, this is the Rockbridge Report.
Good afternoon, Rockbridge County. I'm Maggie Volsky.
And I'm Stephen Young.
The U.S. Justice Department is now investigating the death of Eric Garner, the unarmed black man who died after a white New York City police officer had put him in a chokehold. The incident was caught on video. This week, a grand jury chose not to indict the officer. Protesters took to Times Square last night after the decision was announced and lashed out at the NYPD.
How do you spell terrorist? NYPD. How do you spell terrorist? NYPD. How do you spell terrorist? NYPD. How do you spell rapist? NYPD. How do you spell racist? NYPD.
Police made more than 80 arrests in New York last night, but demonstrations did not result in rioting. The decision against charging Officer Pantaleo comes in the wake of events taking place in Ferguson, Missouri. CNN's Mary Maloney has more on this story.
Protesters stand in silent solidarity, their hands up. This peaceful stance is in direct contrast to a violent death. In July, police confronted Eric Garner. They say he illegally sold cigarettes. A cell phone video captures what would be his final moments. A plainclothes officer put him into a chokehold, while others hold him down, their hands on his head and chest. Garner passes out. He's later pronounced dead. The medical examiner ruled his death a homicide, but a grand jury determined the officer who put Garner in a chokehold shouldn't face charges.
Why? Where's the justice at?
The officer issued this statement saying, in part, "It is never my intention to harm anyone, and I feel very bad about the death of Mr. Garner." That's not good enough for Garner's widow.
Hell no. The time for remorse would have been when my husband was yelling to breathe. That would have been the time for him to show some type of remorse.
His wife isn't the only one upset. Protesters from coast to coast took to the streets. Last week, a different grand jury made a similar decision. A white police officer, Darren Wilson, will not face charges for killing a black teenager, Michael Brown. The decision sparked riots and looting. But in New York, a new message.
I can't breathe.
And a different way to get that message across, peacefully. I'm Mary Maloney, reporting.
Meanwhile, protests continued in Missouri as people flocked to downtown St. Louis last night. People could be seen blocking traffic flows and holding car signs as cars slowly maneuvered past the people standing in the middle of the street. Police later arrived to break up the crowds. People in Center City, Philadelphia staged a die-in protest movement yesterday. Protesters lay on the ground for 4 minutes and 30 seconds in honor of the 4 hours and 30 minutes that Michael Brown lay dead in the Ferguson streets. Meanwhile, after learning he could face criminal charges, Brown's stepfather, Louis Head, issued an apology for his emotional outbursts in Ferguson. He said choice words the night of the grand jury's decision and regrets the violence it may have caused. He referenced a statement to CNN that reads as follows. "Something came over me as I watched and listened to my wife, the mother of Michael Brown Jr., react to the gut-wrenching news that the cop who killed her son wouldn't be charged with a crime. My emotions admittedly got the best of me. I screamed out words that I shouldn't have screamed in the heat of the moment. It was wrong, and I humbly apologize to all those who read my pain and anger as a true desire for what I want for our community. If we are to honor Michael Brown's memory, we need to work together to make rebuilding happen. I plan to remain here and do my part in earnest and in truth." Police are investigating if Head intended to incite rioting when he screamed at the crowd the night of the announcement to not indict Officer Darren Wilson. Wilson has since resigned from the Ferguson Police Department. The Justice Department is also investigating the Ferguson case.
Washington and Lee University's plan to house third-year students on campus has apparently cleared its last hurdle with local government. The Rockbridge County Board of Supervisors voted 3-0 to approve the building of more than 300 units near West Nelson Street and West Denny Circle. WNL asked the board for approval in October, but the supervisors delayed their decision for 30 days because of concerns about parking, traffic, and student safety. University officials went back to the board on November 24th with a revised plan. Because the project will be built in both Lexington and the county, the university earlier got Lexington City Council's okay. The university hopes to begin initial work this month.
Buena Vista continues to struggle to find ways to reduce the city's $23 million debt. The city recently tabled a plan to acquire 69 acres of land to build a new school, in part because the school could not afford to make the purchase. Superintendent John Keeler proposed the idea initially to the City Council. Our reporter Rachel Adams-Hurd visited us earlier this afternoon to discuss why Superintendent Keeler pushed to buy the land.
Superintendent Keeler was concerned about deteriorating facilities in the elementary and middle schools, and his thinking was that 10 years down the line, they're really going to need a new school. Plus, the land is close to the high school. It's actually right in vision of it. So their thinking was that they could have all the schools in one place.
Okay, and how are Buena Vista residents feeling about the town's debt?
They seem to be concerned, but they're optimistic. This is a very resilient town. They've gone through a lot with floods and the closing of factories. So I think they're really considering themselves to have positive attitudes moving forward, and they think that they can come out of this.
So how is Buena Vista different from Lexington?
Buena Vista is a factory town, so it's what a lot of the residents consider more blue collar. And so over the past 50 years especially, a lot of factories have come and gone, and this means that a lot of residents have been unemployed. It doesn't have the same tax base that Lexington does.
How much is Vista Links Golf Course to blame for Buena Vista's debt?
It's a large portion of the total debt. It's almost half, it's a little bit under. But then when it comes to the annual debt obligation, it's not that much more than anything else right now, but in 2016, that annual obligation is going to double, and Buena Vista is going to start having to pay the principal of the loan as opposed to just the interest.
Okay. And what plan does Buena Vista City Council have to combat these debts moving forward?
Well, the city has already cut staff, and they're planning on not having to cut anymore. City Manager Jay Scudder said that he's hoping he doesn't have to cut any more staff. It's not in the plans, but now they're going to move forward by cutting down on spending, what he calls trimming the fat.
So then is there a possibility that to combat the debt problem that the city renounces its independence and joins Rockbridge County?
Well, it's happened in other localities before. It happened in Clifton Forge a little over 10 years ago, but Scudder says that it's very unlikely. Residents don't see it happening anytime soon or anytime ever. And again, it's a resilient town. They think that they can come out of it.
Thanks, Rachel. Council members said in 90 days they will revisit whether to purchase the land. For Rachel's full story, visit our website, rockbridgereport.washingtonandlee.net.
The prosecutor and defense attorneys in the criminal case against former Washington and Lee University student Nicholas Hansel continue to oppose a journalism professor's request for public access to a secret plea agreement that was rejected by a local judge. The Commonwealth's attorney said in a court filing that WNL professor Brian Richardson has legal standing to make the request, but said the agreement should remain sealed. Hansel's defense team said Richardson cannot represent the interests of a third party. Hansel faces involuntary manslaughter and drunk driving charges in connection with the death of WNL student Kelsey Durkin last year. In September, Richardson filed a request on behalf of the WNL Journalism Department and the Rockbridge Report that the plea agreement be made public. Richardson's attorney argued in court papers that public access protects the judicial process. Judge J.T. Sweat has scheduled a hearing for December 10th. Hansel's trial is set for January 20th. Coming up next, many states are not happy with President Obama's recent stance on immigration policy. Find out why they plan to sue the federal government.
I'm Kinsey Grant. The forecast for Rockbridge County may not be best for being outdoors. Find out when you can expect the clouds to clear up.
Plus, why gift cards could be a huge hit as a holiday gift across the country.
And another town manager has left Glasgow, but a replacement has been named. Details when we come back.
If you don't fix them, sparks from dragging tow chains could cause a wildfire, and that could be scary.
Bye, Smokey.
Only you can prevent wildfires.
In the small town of Elmira, New York, a boy was born into an all-American family.
7, 6, 5,
The
4,
odds of him achieving
3,
his dream in the fashion
2,
industry?
1.
1 in 23 million. The odds of having a child diagnosed with autism? 1 in 68. I am Tommy Hilfiger, and my family is affected by autism. Learn more at autismspeaks.org/signs.
He's on his way. He doesn't even know that we're here. Is he okay? Please tell me he's okay.
Laura.
Okay, try to call him again.
There's no signal.
Try.
Nothing's working.
Well, just
Everything's down.
This is so bad. He's out there by himself.
Make sure you know where to find your family in an emergency. Start your plan at ready.gov.
Welcome back. Texas Governor-elect Greg Abbott is leading a 17-state coalition that plans to sue President Obama and federal agencies over Obama's recent announcement on immigration policy. Republicans from many states have denounced Obama's plan to spare millions of illegal immigrants from facing deportations from the United States. The states joining Texas in the lawsuit are largely from the Southeast and Midwest and represent mostly conservative areas of the country. Abbott spoke yesterday about why these states are suing the president.
Now, two things are clear. Our immigration system is broken and it must be fixed. Second, the Constitution prescribes immigration policy be fixed by Congress, not by presidential fiat. The President's executive order and the actions of federal agencies to implement that executive order directly violate a fundamental promise to the American people.
White House spokeswoman Brandy Hoffine said the president was not out of bounds in announcing his executive order November 20th. Abbott was elected as Texas governor last month after previously serving as the state's attorney general since 2002. Former Virginia Democratic Senator Jim Webb said Wednesday he is considering running for president in 2016. He made the statement at a Virginia legislative preview held by the Associated Press. Webb said he wants to run because his party has splintered into a series of interest groups and failed to address the economic concerns of middle-class Americans. The former senator also said at the press meeting he hopes to make his final decision on whether to run for office in the next few months. Webb served as a Virginia senator in Congress from 2007 until 2013.
Clouds have descended in Rockbridge County this week, and our weather analyst Kinsey Grant is here with us now to tell us what we can expect in the upcoming days. Kinsey, what's it looking like out there?
Thank you, Maggie. Well, we're here on the campus of Washington and Lee, and as you can see, there are clouds all in the sky and hardly any leaves left on these trees. It seems winter weather is already here, and although I am excited for the holiday season, this Florida girl isn't quite ready to let go of those warm temperatures yet. Let's take a look at our almanac. Right now, it's about 43 degrees in the area. We have a light wind blowing in and lots of clouds in the sky. Now, these clouds have been in the area for quite some time, but tonight they will be bringing in rain. More on that soon in our 5-day forecast. Now, our 43 degrees right now feels pretty chilly, but it's nothing compared to the temperatures we had 2 weeks ago in the teens and the 20s. And it's not very close to the record low of 10 degrees set back in 2000. Let's take a look at the regional conditions to see if the rest of the area is experiencing similar weather. Now you'll notice on our radar map that just about everywhere is going to be feeling some precipitation moving in as we move into tonight and into tomorrow. This precipitation is going to stick around for at least 2 days. And as you'll see, the system is large. It's covering most of our area, not only in the state, but this entire mid-Atlantic region of the United States. Now moving on to our onto our regional map, you can see that everywhere in the area is experiencing consistent temperatures in about the 40s with clouds in the sky. Now over in the Highlands, we have about 38 degrees in Covington, and farther north in Stanton and Charlottesville, there is a little bit of sun peeking through the clouds, but not enough to warm them up any warmer than about 42 degrees. Let's take a look at our 5-day forecast. Now, you can see that on Friday, tomorrow, we have a high of only about 44 degrees, and we've got some rain rolling in, so it's going to be cold and wet. I advise you to bring a jacket, especially to the Lexington Christmas Parade tomorrow. Now on Saturday, it's going to warm up a little bit, high of about 52, but it'll still be pretty cloudy. On Sunday, we will finally have some sunshine in the sky, but unfortunately, it won't last very long. You'll see on Monday and Tuesday, as we move into the work week, we are going to be experiencing similar conditions to those today. We've got temperatures in the 40s and lots of clouds in the sky. That's it for weather. Back to you.
Well, Stephen, the clouds will make it easy to stay inside and study for finals, don't you think?
I know, it sure reflects the mood of the people on campus when they're preparing for finals week. Local gay couples are optimistic about the impact of Virginia Supreme Court's recent decision to legalize same-sex marriage in the state. Sabrina Edgerton-Malloy has the story.
Advocates and members of the lesbian, gay, bisexual, and transgendered community have sponsored several events in the past month to celebrate the milestone.
I think that it's really important to make diversity and difference overall a positive thing on campus, and to show that, you know, it's not just individual groups that should be working in isolation from each other, but that we should all be working together.
Some local advocates traveled to Hollins University a month ago for Beyond Folk Fest. This event was held to provide a welcoming space for the LGBT community and its allies.
Tonight is a celebration of a lot of the monumental shifts we had in our society, but also acknowledging that there's still so much more to do.
At a Witness for Love event at the Rockbridge County Courthouse, members of the community thanked Clerk of the Circuit Court, Bruce Patterson, for issuing marriage licenses.
When I attended WNL 40 years ago, you could have told me I'd be standing here today in the shadow of my fraternity house celebrating the legalization of same-sex marriage in Virginia, and I would have said you were crazy. But we've come a very long way in a very short time.
Lexington Mayor Mimi Elrod joined the celebration.
I think it's important that this event be hosted in Lexington because the world is changing, and I think we along with other people across the world need to recognize the importance of people being able to show affection, have affection, and marry the people that they want to marry.
For the Rockbridge Report, I'm Sabrina Edgerton-Malloy.
Not everyone is celebrating. Some local churches continue their opposition to same-sex marriage, citing the Bible.
Up next on the Rockbridge Report, gas prices in the area continue to fall, where Rockbridge County stands against the national averages.
Gift cards are on the rise as a popular item for this holiday season. Find out how much Americans will spend buying these cards.
And later, Stuart Scott will join us in the studio for our sports preview and wrap-up from this past week. Stay with us.
Hi, may I please have an application? Thank you.
Skip the drama. Get your GED.
Okay.
Take that first step towards a better future and sign up for free classes now at yourged.org.
If you store your guns properly, I'll feel safer when I'm playing outside.
Safer when walking home.
I won't have to tell so many family members. I'm sorry.
I won't hear as many scary stories.
And I won't have to tell my kids. This isn't a drill.
Please.
Please, do it for us.
Your family, friends, and neighbors are all counting on you. Never let your gun get into the wrong hands. Remember, always, lock it up. Visit ncpc.org.
No more pencils, no more books,
No more teachers, dirty looks.
School's out!
What this place needed was better graduation rates. So we worked with schools like Henry Ford High, and now they're up 18%.
To help us do more good this year, go to unitedway.org, because great things happen when we live united.
If you want to be a parent, it doesn't matter how you play, what you wear, how you dance, or even what direction life takes you. You just need to be there. You don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care don't need perfection. They just need you.
Welcome back. Virginia residents may be getting a better deal than other states when it comes to gas prices. As of December 1st, the national average cost of gasoline was $2.77 per gallon. In Lexington, the average price is $2.55 per gallon. In the neighboring city, Buena Vista, prices are even lower. Several of the gas stations in Buena Vista boast prices as low as $2.39 per gallon. In the general Virginia area, the cities with the cheapest gas are Richmond, Appomattox, Eagle Rock, and Harrisonburg. These areas have prices lower than $2.39 per gallon. Gas prices have dropped significantly in just 3 months, and prices continue to fall. The farming industry in Virginia has been on the decline in recent years, and economics say it isn't a sustainable way to live now. Chief economist for the American Farm Bureau, Robert Young, spoke at the Virginia Farm Bureau Federation's annual convention at the Omni Homestead Resort in Hot Springs, Virginia. Those who call themselves farmers declined 35% according to 2012 data to a little more than 115,000 producers, Young said. He also said that the farming to survive in the future market, youth need to take over the work that their elders are leaving behind. About 2 million farmers in the U.S. fall under the 55 to 64 age group, according to Young. The Virginia Farmer Bureau's convention was a 3-day event that started Tuesday and concluded today.
Gift cards will once again top holiday wish lists for some Americans. While it may seem like the simplest of items to give and receive, consumers should be aware of what to look for when buying gift cards. CNN's Karen Kaifa has more.
They may not seem like the most personal gift, but more than half of Americans say they want gift cards this holiday season, and the National Retail Federation says shoppers will spend more than $31 billion on them. A holiday survey from Card Hub found the most popular gift cards this season will be the Visa gift card, Amazon, iTunes, American Express, and Netflix. When choosing a gift card off of a display, check the back of the card and make sure the PIN number hasn't been exposed. The card may be void if this has happened. A number of resale sites have popped up in recent years, so consumers can trade unwanted gift cards for a more desired option or for cash. Be sure to use only trusted, reputable sites for these transactions and be wary if a deal seems too good to be true. As consumers get more comfortable with smartphone transactions, digital gift cards are expected to rise in popularity, sent to recipients by email, app, text, or social media. Creditcards.com recommends not uploading cards until it's time to use them and keeping your phone locked once that gift card is loaded. And for any gift card, check out an issuer's policy on what happens if that card gets lost, compromised, or stolen. For Consumer Watch, I'm Karen Kaifa.
There are plenty of places in Rockbridge County to find such gift cards to give this holiday season. Walmart and Kroger, along with some gas stations and retail stores in the county, provide different varieties of cards for shoppers to choose from for their loved ones.
The Town Council of Glasgow unanimously agreed Tuesday to name William C. Bill Rolfe as part-time town manager. Rolfe was already serving on an interim basis after Paul Parker left the position earlier this year. This is the fourth change to the town manager position for Glasgow since 2012, when Ryan Spitzer also resigned from office. Rolfe served as the interim town manager as well between Spitzer and Parker. He had previously been Bedford County Administrator for 16 years. After this short break, we'll give you the rundown for local sports action in Rockbridge County, as well as some recent results.
And we'll have the holiday celebration roundup for Rockbridge County as well. What events will be taking place over the weekend? We'll be right back.
Jimmy can't sing and Tommy can't dance, so we're gonna put some ants in their pants. Aww.
Kids will spend 22 minutes watching us, the super duper party troopers, sing about ants in their pants.
Isn't that funny? ants in their pants. They've got ants in their pants. They've got ants in their pants.
Brushing for 2 minutes now can save your child from severe tooth pain later. 2 minutes, twice a day. They have the time.
Everybody has a dream.
8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2.
Mine was to see
1.
the ocean. And with a little help, I made it.
So, I'm kind of new here, but I've noticed a trend. My human does this funny thing where she goes around and gets all my toys, and then she hides them in that basket by the door. But it's always the same basket, and it's always in the same place. And then she acts so surprised when I find them, but, she's putting them in the same basket. Again. It's like, hello, that's where you put it last time. You were the worst at hide and go seek.
Enroll, we say, we want you to be okay. Enroll, we say, take care of people for goodness sake.
There's a plan for every budget, so don't accept defeat.
Now you can get covered and still buy me treats.
You take care of your pets. Now it's their turn to take care of you. Visit getcoveredamerica.org to learn about your health insurance options.
Welcome back. We've got some breaking news for you now. Washington and Lee University will be holding an observance in the wake of the deaths of Eric Garner, Michael Brown, and others tomorrow at 4 p.m. The gathering will take place in front of Robinson Hall.
It's now time for sports, and Stuart Scott is here to break down what's happened over the weekend in Rockbridge County. Stuart?
Thanks, Stephen. I'm Stuart Scott here with your sports preview and wrap-up from the past week of action. We'll start with men's basketball. Both Washington and Lee and SVU lost yesterday to continue their losing streaks. Eastern Mennonite senior center David Falk hit one of 2 foul shots with just 5 seconds remaining to lift the Royals to a 78-77 win over the Generals. WNL is now on a 5-game losing streak. SVU was ahead at halftime, but eventually lost their game at Christopher Newport 89-79 to extend their losing streak to 6 games. Saturday, both teams return to the court as WNL faces Bridgewater at 4 p.m. and SVU takes on Wesley at 3 p.m. VMI beat Mid-Atlantic Christian College Tuesday night by a score of 133-62. The win bumped the team's record to 3-4 on the season. The Keydets have 2 road contests coming up, one against Samford tonight at 8 p.m. and another Saturday against Mercer at 4 p.m. You can watch the second game on ESPN3. In high school basketball, Perry McClure kicks off its season at Buffalo Gap High School tomorrow night. Tip-off is at 7 p.m. And Rockbridge County next takes the court Tuesday night versus Lee High School. Tip-off for the Wildcats is also at 7 p.m. In women's basketball, both high school teams opened their seasons earlier this week. Rockbridge County won its opener against Covington High School 68-44 Tuesday night, while Perry McClure dropped its opener last night at Chatham High School 36-27. The Wildcats next take the court tomorrow night against Turner Ashby High School. That game is set to tip off at 7 p.m. The Fighting Blues, meanwhile, don't play again until Tuesday when they face Chatham at 7:30 p.m. In college action, WNL takes on Bridgewater Saturday starting at 2 p.m. The Generals last played November 25th at Virginia Wesleyan, where the team suffered its first loss of the season by a score of 73-63. The team is now 4-1 entering their game Saturday. SVU will also play at home this Saturday. They face Wesley at 1 p.m. The Dragons recently dropped an away contest to Christopher Newport, losing 117-76. The loss dropped their overall record to 2-6, and the team will look to erase a 2-game losing streak on Saturday. That's all for sports. Stephen, back to you.
Thanks, Stuart, and good luck to all the teams participating in sports this weekend.
Now that it's December, local holiday celebrations will be held over the next few days in Rockbridge County. Multiple events today as the town will string lights across the Glen Morey Park starting at 6 p.m. and will also hold its annual Christmas parade starting at 7 p.m. Lexington will host its annual Christmas parade the following night from 6 to 7:30 p.m. The theme this year is called A Storybook Christmas. Saturday, the Jingle Bell 5K race and 1.5K walk will be held in the morning starting at 8:30 a.m. Runners will meet at the Nelson Street Bridge in Lexington to start the race. Main Street in Lexington takes place Monday from 4 to 7 p.m. Tickets are required and are $20 or can be bought at 2 for $30. All proceeds will benefit the Rockbridge Area Relief Association. That's all for this edition of the Rockbridge Report. We hope you enjoyed today's broadcast.
For more news in our area, visit our website at www.rockbridgereport.washingtonandlee.net, and also be sure to follow us on Facebook and Twitter.
Have a great rest of your evening.